guys.
Yeah, we're live.
We are live and sending our love to all of you. Hello, hello. Welcome to Costa Rica.
So we wanted to start today with a little bit of a house tour.
This is a place we're renting for a little while out here, and we love it. It's been our home, and we thought, hey, why not bring you guys into our home and show you kind of what life is like for the two of us and the little guy Xavier living in here.
And so for those of you that might be watching this later on YouTube, if we end up posting it there.
This is an exclusive official live stream that we do on a monthly basis with our community. And it's a very special time that we get to connect with everyone on our Boho Beautiful official app.
If you're interested in joining things like this or accessing any of our exclusive catalog of content or all of our content ad-free, and there's tons of reasons and tons of all the points to talk about, but we won't, you can go to bohobeautiful.tv or just download it in the App Store.
Yeah, and then you can join these live streams because when we do them with our official community, hello, you guys will see there is a chat box on the side of the screen that you can write comments, questions, and just feel like you can interact a little bit more than, just watch the video.
But here we are sitting in Juliana's morning yoga ritual location.
This is my little, show you guys, rooftop to do yoga in the trees. So you can see there's my mat, and there's like a cute little area. If it's raining, you can kind of go in there. And what's beautiful is that this beautiful tree welcomes so many monkeys. And even yesterday I was doing my yoga practice, and literally like a family of monkeys were just watching me from the tree. It was quite incredible. So this is kind of where I go in the mornings. It's pretty sweet. And it's just like a little rooftop.
And we're actually, on a rooftop here. You can see down below. Look at that. All right.
And then it's got these really sketchy stairs that we don't allow Xavier to go on. Then you go down. And then Mark can show you kind of where he does his practice.
Okay. So, the cool thing about this, use your...
I'm trying to use this new thing here.
So the cool thing about this place is it's kind of like a small little compound. And so Juliana has her morning spot up there.
Up there.
And they've fashioned in what used to be a garage.
Oh, there we go.
A sketchy little gym that I love. And it's turned into...
It's not sketchy at all. It's super cute.
Actually, it's true. It's not sketchy at all. There's a little massage table that's in here. And then there's a bed over here that we moved from a room in there to turn into an office. And then this is my little spot here.
This is kind of more of a Mysore style for Mark because he likes to just be more militant and like put himself in a little room and do his practice.
My mala beads that we got in Tibet. Actually in the town in Tibet, but we got it outside of the temple, that the very first wheel of life was ever painted. And so I use these for my mantras in the morning. And I have my shungite balls. See these? So shungite's a really cool substance that's found in Siberia.
It actually contains every single element in the periodic table.
And so I can put little fists around them like that. And one is positive and negative, and electricity can travel through them. So they say that the human energy can travel from one to the other and pure yourself of negativity. As well, it's said to block out EMF waves. But there's a lot of videos trying to debunk it online, and there's a lot of people that talk about how they paint their room with actually the dust of shungite. They mix it into paint and then paint the room, and it creates an EMF sort of cocoon. So yeah, and then this is my little version of The Law of Success by Yogananda. And I try to read it almost once a week. I mean, it's not very long, but it's probably my most powerful book that I've ever read in my life. So that's my Mysore space, because I come onto the cement every morning and I spend at least, before sunrise for at least an hour or two here every single morning while Juliana goes up there in the little treetop.
And then actually right now, we got a little comfortable there. This is kind of a really fun area when it's not raining. We get to hang out. It's like a little patio. We're actually going to be doing the rest of our live stream for you guys from there, but we want to show you the house. A little pool. We have a really good friend of ours right now staying with us, Heidi. She's this incredible astrologer that you guys will know a little bit more about soon. Maybe we'll go say hi.
Do you think is that rude? So this is it's like a little guest shower.
It's a guest shower.
What are you doing?
I'm looking out on my computer here.
Okay.
And she's got her blue light today.
Which is sometimes red.
Which is sometimes
red. Amazing. Thanks, Heidi. So that's the little guest room in the house. And then this is our house.
Xavier right now is on the beach, hanging out and playing with some kids. We got our nanny to come and take him there so we could do the live stream for you guys. So he's not here yet, but this is kind of where, this is his area with all the toys. I'm sure all the moms and dads that are watching this can relate to your baby's always having a big corner. And then, yeah, this is...
We love the openness here. They built it so that there's a nice little open, screenless area. See that? Whoop.
And then we have our kitchen here.
Tell them about this chair.
This baby chair has been going with us all over the world, and it is so handy and so convenient for any parents out there that are looking for something travel size to take with you as a high chair. This thing has gone with us all over the world.
Because it literally just snaps on like that.
Like you just snap it to a table, and then it's super sturdy, and then your baby can sit, and then it folds so you can fit it into your suitcase. Okay. And then we got the kitchen. Nothing special, but
we love the concrete in this place. Like everything is like really rustic concrete.
Yeah.
And we make our.
We got our special coffees here, like
Lion's mane, cordyceps salmon, and
cashew milk. This is kind of what Mark makes his coffees out of.
Supplement area. I don't know. This is it's rustic and we love it. And then over here we have our wonderful picture prince.
Oh.
And he's no longer with us, but we take this everywhere we travel and put it somewhere special that we can see every day. And Martina took it, our favorite photographer in the world. And when we took it, like we felt like it was really, really meaningful because it just captured this moment of like shaking the hand, Juliana and us laughing. And, it's just it's a stunning photo.
It's beautiful.
I think is him saying hello to us from
Then this right here is a water filter. They use it a lot in Costa Rica, and it's actually made out of clay. I'll just show it to you guys. It's really cool. And yeah, you put just regular water in there, and then it filters it, and you get drinking water. So we have that. And then to the right, we got our bedroom. Very simple. This is our room.
That's our room. And that's a wolf.
And that's where Xavier sleeps. And then we have another room where actually we're turning into a little studio. We're waiting for our desk to be made, so it's a little bit of a mess right now. So not really worth showing to many people, but
that's our little office.
That's kind of where a lot of the audio and things are done for you guys.
I just bought a beautiful piece of guanacosta and whitewashed it white, and we're making a desk out of it.
It'll be a beautiful space for us to work, and that's our home.
And that's our home. And there's Xavier's hands and feet. And there's Prince again. And let's go hang out now. Okay. That's our house tour. We felt
see all the beautiful trees there.
It's so lush.
And
sometimes we sit on this little balcony in the rocking chair, writing our books, and it's just so lush and so Costa Rican. And the woman who made this, who designed it and put it together, Mariana, she's a friend of ours, and she's so special, and all the wood is locally sourced, and it's very much made with such a beautiful intention. Like it's been built and constructed and designed and put together in a way, and it's just beautiful. So that's our house.
And I'm drinking an iced coffee for our little chat today, because it's one of those mornings, when you need that extra little bit of energy. So coffee with cashew milk, that's what I'm drinking here.
So what else do we have to clean up? on the list. Is there anything? So, welcome everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. So you guys, this is our little haven in Costa Rica, and it's a very, very special place for us here, and kind of gives us that ability and possibility to find a beautiful routine and a beautiful balance between everything that we do. And that's something actually we've been struggling for a little while, especially at the beginning of the year when we felt like, you felt kind of like we're losing our grounding.
Well, it's been a tough year.
And
we always talk about that, so let's not talk too much.
We don't need to talk about the tough year, but I think something that's been helping us find our grounding and our support is building a beautiful daily balanced routine. And this home here provides us such a sacred space to do that. And, the way we do it is we kind of time it, obviously, for me, especially with the nanny that we have that comes and helps. So, when she comes, then I'm able to hand off Xavier and have a little bit of personal time for myself where I do my practice and my reading and my diving deeper into my own self-care and self-growth. But Mark, you start much earlier.
Yeah, I try to get up before the sun and come to my little Mysore space there. And I don't know. It's been a hard year, and actually with an astrologer in the house, we're learning lots of things about possibilities of how the patterns of our solar system might be playing into just the difficulties or challenges that we've been facing. And the good news is that the Mercury retrograde is coming to a close.
Today,
tomorrow.
Is kind of.
I'm getting a reading later today, so I'll know a lot more about it. But it seems that it started in January 21st, I think, somewhere around there.
And it's finally making its completion.
Which is, I'm hoping, coming to a nice finish for us, because it's just been like one thing after another, constantly challenges and constantly meeting those challenges and finding the lessons that they have for us. And I think that that's what's really interesting. Like, I think difficulties and challenges in life, and we all face them, and they're constantly coming at us because life is an ebb and flow of peaks and valleys. But I think that the gurus in our life are truly the challenges. And I think through this year we've learned that. We've learned that if you can, when you face some kind of resistance, as you go through it, if you're mindful, you can learn to actually appreciate it, because you can learn to figure out what it's here to teach you. Like, why did it appear in your life? Why are we challenged to go through this? And to us, I think finding those lessons has given us a deep respect for the time we've gone through, and also like almost an appreciation. So learning to love what we would normally call negative takes the negative, which is just a label we put on it, and then it allows us to embrace it as a positive instead, or just as a neutrality, to be neutral with both the positive and the negative, and realize that both are here to teach us lessons.
Yeah, and also like sometimes when you have certain circumstances in your life that really shake your foundation, you can look at it as a way as it's giving you the opportunity to find your regrounding and rebalance in it, right? So like to hold on, like to dig in even stronger when that foundation is being shaken. And I think us having to really hone in and focus on this really strong morning ritual and morning practice that serves us and fills our energy up, so then we can continue on with the day and do everything else that we have to do for others and for other things, then that has been one of the most important lessons so far this year, that we knew about it, but you always have to be reminded whenever you fall off the horse, and you have to get back up. So,
and to not relearn, but strengthen the understanding of the lesson in a way. Like day one, the Ascension, the program, if any of you guys have done it, it's building a strong foundation. And so we're constantly working and mining at building a stronger morning, or coming back to the strong morning that we need to build in order to be our best as the day unfolds. And I think that without that, you kind of feel like a little more just spread out, a little more, like fragmented throughout the day. And so, I don't know, we've really found a beautiful place here, which we just showed you, to really find like our own space. And actually, Heidi makes fun of our place but actually she participates as well, so it's not, we all kind of make fun of it, because in the mornings we tend to just all be wandering around and doing our own thing and having our own ritual, and she basically says this is our ashram, because
our morning ashram,
we don't talk, like we're very in our space, we're very focused, we go do one thing and then we go, everything's very intentional.
Everyone's saying that the clone from here.
Oh, it could be the birds.
Maybe we'll bring it closer.
We're talking about how Heidi's made the connection that our mornings here
is an ashram.
Is like living in an ashram, because we basically go through a very structured, intentional practice every morning, and it's in silence in a way, and we don't really start conversations. We say hello, but we kind of do our thing with very much focus and concentration before the day begins. And so this is our ashram, and I think that's really beautiful.
But anyways, it's nice to bring you guys in here and give you a little peek into our life.
And it's nice to be with you guys again, because every month we look forward to just being able to exhale a little and be here with you, and we'll take some questions if you guys want to ask anything, or maybe read off some comments and things like that, because it's really nice to be interacting with you guys, because you mean
a lot to us, and you're our community, and even though we can't hear you, we can read what you say. So if there's anything that you want to ask or share, please use the comment section. That is why it's here, so we can all communicate, and not just with us but with others as well. Feel free to say hello to everybody. That's why we're...
So what do we want to talk about today? I mean, we gave the tour of the house. We have these little notes that we have. Any update on... So Jian is asking if there's any updates on a retreat in Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
Well, maybe. We've been talking to a couple venues, I guess retreat centers, and we've been actually looking into some ways of being able to do a little bit of live streaming while we do retreats. So we're really working on that. And we got a lot of wonderful feedback from you guys through the surveys of the mid-month email. And this is our moment, maybe just to talk about that. It's a good segue.
Yeah.
So every mid-month, being members of this community, you get your beginning of month email and the mid-month, and the mid-month is the interactive email. And for those of you that interact with that email, we are deeply grateful. But the open rate is quite high, but the interaction is quite low. So we're curious if any of you want to give any feedback in the comments here about if there's a better way, because we choose the Karma project every month. We give the different places that we suggest to donate, and then based on who gets what votes, they get them.
It's kind of like we rank it 1 to 3, right? So whatever organization gets the most votes, we give the most money to, and then the second and the third place, we try to make sure we can contribute to every organization, because we kind of feel bad to just pick one, because everyone's doing something kind and wonderful for whatever they're supporting. But it allows us to involve you guys in that decision, because again, what we're trying to do here is to open this feeling and energy of a community. And I know it's difficult when it's a digital kind of space like that, but we're trying to find these little things that we can do for you guys to feel like you're a part of something more than just a platform where you consume videos from, right?
Because we're looking also into redoing the app completely to make it more community based, but that's a much longer play. So in the interim, this interactive email means a lot to us, and hopefully to the ones of you that are voting and participating in the survey and participating in the Karma project. It's amazing, because we're hearing you, and it's so nice to listen rather than to always be speaking. So thank you for those of you. But maybe we could just encourage some of you guys, when you're done on your mats after a practice, to remember that there's that email there, and just to take a minute. I think it will take less than 5 minutes to just voice your intention and voice your thoughts, and
it just
and to
helps
vote.
us, yeah.
Because for those of you that don't know, that might be watching this on YouTube, every month we donate. How much do we donate?
We usually do $2,000 towards the first organization, and then $500 and $500 to the runner-ups. And this is what we call the Karma Project, because we feel like we as a community, a Boho Beautiful Official, want to come together and give back of what everyone pays for their subscription. Part of that money, we want people to know that part of it is going on your behalf to a beautiful organization or a charity or a person that needs it, you know, like, so it's our karma way of giving back to the universe
because
way.
Practice, right? Practice. And we believe so strongly that yoga and spiritual practice is not just about what goes on in my little space up there. We got
Motorbikes.
So our practice isn't just internal on our mat inside my Mysore space or for Juliana up on a rooftop. It's so much more. It's about how you take that and how it reflects to the rest of the world and what you do and what your intention in your actions and your words and your thoughts are for the rest of the day moving forward. So karma is such a huge piece of that, and it's how are we contributing. And so as a community, we're so proud to be a part of this with you guys, to be able to take some of the money from everyone who's here and put it to a place that then ripples into the universe in positive ways.
I'm just also watching a lot of your guys' comments coming through, and someone had a really wonderful suggestion about using more of the SMS, the text messages, because, you know, it's true. Many of us receive millions of emails a day, and so I can understand it can be too much. So that's a great idea. Thank you. And then I also saw a comment from Mei Lan. Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Mei Lan is a dear friend of ours who also, I feel like we talk about you, Mei Lan, every live stream to our whole community, because you're an incredible soul and an angel on earth. For those of you guys that are wanting to find a beautiful sound healing meditation or anything to do with a sound journey, Mei Lan is unreal, and we can't suggest her more, you know, to you guys.
And
she's amazing.
Juliana's birthday was the other day, and she actually shares the same birthday with Mei Lan. Like, there's a serious soul sister thing going on. And she soundtracked Ascension, our program.
Yeah, so some of the music you guys heard, that was from Mei Lan as well. You know, so anyways, we'll add a link just to her channel, because she has a beautiful YouTube channel.
We'll put it down in the description for sure.
You guys can check her out, and she has her own app as well that you
subscribe to that one too.
That has, like, you know, more and more sound healing and music and things like that. So anyways, just wanted to to give you a little shout out to Milan.
But as far as the Karma Project goes, guys, take a minute and vote. We'd love it. That's all we're going to say about that. But we could also maybe say that this month's Karma Project, we did a little bit differently, where we received a comment on our monthly check-in from a community member named Millie, and it just spoke so strongly.
It was a comment under our check-in video that when we read, Mark and I both, I think it took us probably a good 5 to 10 minutes just to, like, come back to ourselves.
It made us cry.
It made us cry. We were so touched and sad, and just so many emotions were coming through it. And we actually included part of the message in the newsletter that you guys hopefully have received in an email. But she is just this beautiful, strong soul that has been challenged a lot by having her mom pass away, and then her dear dog, like, weeks afterwards. And her mom really strongly supported this organization that supports underprivileged women in, you know, countries such as Nepal, Tibet, and India. And, you know, when we looked at the organization and what they do for women and the girls of those countries, and the fact that this was such a dear charity to Millie's mom, we decided that we wanted to pick, you know, or to use that as one of the charities for us to vote for.
So it got the lion's share of the Karma Project this month, just by the universe bringing this message forward to us, and the idea that her and her mother connected so deeply with our content as she was on her way out was just like,
it was super touching. Like, just, it kind of, you know, it's when you hear those kinds of stories, it just gives you that extra fire and love in your heart to be like, wow, like, the energy that we put into the content, it was used by people like her during such a transitionary time, you know, like,
there's no greater purpose.
There is no greater purpose, no. Like, the fact that you can even know that, like, a part of us was able to contribute in her experience of peace, through leaving this earth. Like, oh my god, I can't even talk about it. It gets me really emotional. But anyways, so we were very, very touched by that, and that's why we wanted to share her story with the whole community. So maybe we can all, send her some energy and some love and healing through a very difficult time that it must be for her right now, to process and to grieve and to go through something like that.
And so in honor of Millie and her family and the journey that they went through, and that Millie is continuing to go on and find such inspiring strength, we selected it as the chosen Karma Project this month. But also, we're going to put the link to that organization down below, and we highly encourage anyone watching this to check out that organization. There's countries, actually, we named 3 that we've been to, that we are all, that Nepal, Tibet, and India, that are also dear to our hearts. And so for the women in those countries that are struggling, please take this moment, find a place inside you of openness, and give what you can, because that's what the Karma Project is about. It's not just about one act, it's about inspiring other acts through actions.
Yeah. And then you'll see the other also organizations that we posted on there, one of them being very, very close to our personal hearts because of, everything that's going on in Ukraine. It's probably so loud, this car. As we all know, the war is continuing on in Ukraine, and actually my dad, who lives in Canada, who is a doctor, he had a really hard time coping with the idea that our hometown was very, very close to where a lot of the bombing was happening. It's still okay, they've only had 2 rockets dropped, so it's nothing as bad as the other towns nearby have gone through. But he ended up actually doing a little community fundraiser, and he got about 5 suitcases of medical supplies and other supplies, and he went to Ukraine. He's actually in my hometown right now. He went there so he can deliver the supplies and help in any way that he can as a physician. And just getting kind of seeing what's going on from his perspective, and seeing, to be honest, guys, I can share with you the amount of corruption that is happening in Ukraine is really, really frustrating. He told me, he's like, there's billions of dollars being poured into Ukraine from so many countries all over the world, yet the soldiers and the people are yet to see that money. And he is furious. He's calling me, he's just so angry. He's like, why am I supposed to come here and start supplying and buying bulletproof vests and helmets and shoes and all of jackets,
tea kettles for the soldiers to keep warm on the front line,
because their tea kettle is broken. And he asked one of the soldiers, because we have friends on the front lines, he's like, okay, what is in your medical kit? And he's like, we have a pair of scissors and 2 bandages. They're like, where, what? It just breaks your brain. Why? Where is this stuff? Why is this not going to you guys? And so he, thankfully, because he's there on the ground, we started just supplying at least the soldiers in our area with the supplies that they need, and antibiotics, and all of the equipment and things like that to protect their lives. But that's something happened there.
The Osmo turned off.
But
there we go. We're back.
But anyways, it's really been really hard to understand the reality and truth of what's going on. I mean, obviously, whatever's happening is a lot of corruption.
We talked about this last stream about how peace is not on the table on any sides anymore. Nobody wants to talk about the obvious, which is, what is the resolution, and how do we fight not fight with weapons, but fight diplomatically for the resolutions. And many countries of Western nations are pulling even the discussions off the table. And it's becoming very clear to many political analysts at this point who support either side that this is just a war about money exchanging hands. And it's really frustrating because these oligarchs and these governments, and they're taking private money, public money, and turning it into private hands. And not to get too political on something that I'm not here to talk about it, but I encourage anyone watching this to look with outside of a mainstream narrative and look at some analysts from both sides who are bringing these ideas to the forefront, which is that we as the people who are funding this now, we need to start talking about the fact that this is just about money. Now it's it's changing hands, and it's the people that are I almost swore. It's the people that are suffering. It's the people of these countries and the soldiers.
And that's the thing. It's
and your dad is there witnessing it firsthand.
And just seeing what it's like. There's our baby who's asleep.
Hola.
Our nannies, by the way, just to quickly change subject, we have this wonderful nanny, and she takes him to the beach every morning with all other nannies come together, other parents here, and that baby's play, so he gets really tired and cute playing there. But anyways, yeah, it's just been really eye-opening, and because it's one thing, you know, to feel like, oh, you know, you're donating to these organizations and they're going to supply Ukraine and the soldiers with this much, but the fact that, you know, my town, Poltava, is about 150 kilometers from Kharkiv, which is like 80% been destroyed, so a lot of refugees are coming from Kharkiv. It's been a lot for us, to be honest, personally, to kind of cope with, because I'm hearing all of this from my father's, like he's literally like calling me from his curfew hotel, because they have these curfews where they have to turn off all the lights at 10 o'clock, like in the hotel rooms, and you know, no one can go on the streets and things like that. And he's just so saddened by what's happening in the world, and the fact that like he's just like, he's constantly calling me, he's like, where's the money? Where's this money that they're raising and sending to this country, because nobody here is seeing a dime of it, and people are suffering, you know. And so anyways, not to get too deep into the sadness of it, but one of the organizations that you guys will see also, and the Karma Project, is to help my hometown, Poltava, and through my father, who's there on the ground. I also have a childhood friend that I actually shared a story on our Instagram yesterday. He's, you know, working with a lot of volunteers on the ground and taking in different donations through a PayPal account. Like, you can trust him. Like, I know what he uses the money for. You know, it's because it's hard sometimes if you don't know like what your money's used. He's helping a lot in the community as well. So, you know, that's kind
we'll put the links in the description. Again, once we repost this on official, all the links will be there. And if we do end up posting this on YouTube, we're going to make sure all the links are there. And we probably should now, because of this discussion, and it's really important. I mean, there's a lot of like really good questions coming in about this. And like, some people are asking about the different outlets that we rely on, and I don't know, like I do my best, and I think we both do our best to try to take our information from all kinds of places so that we can critically make up our own mind, meaning both independent and both the right and the left wing, like staying in touch with what everyone's narrative is, so we can try to make sense of what it is for us. So, you know, there's the obvious is like the CNNs and the Foxes, and I think it's important, if you're going to watch one, you should watch the other just to understand what the other side says. But about also something. Just remember, like for us, what we've been really trying to understand is having to look a little bit deeper into these media outlets and seeing who's actually funding them and who's behind them, because it's so important. That's how their conversations are swayed, depending on who's giving them the money, right? So having to also go towards independent journalism and people that are taking it upon themselves to share the truth is important, not just believing one side, because unfortunately, you guys, we live in a time where everything is very corrupt and everything is run by this power and money, and so you can't trust these mainstream news anymore. You have to really open your mind and do your own research and look at everything to make your own decision and opinions about things. And so, you know, it's on the independent side, you know, I think I have a lot of respect for Glenn Greenwald. He has a beautiful Substack. Like, Substack is a great place to get a lot of independent journalists. So Glenn Greenwald, and nobody's perfect too. I could come up with a lot of reasons not to listen to a lot of the places we go to, because we try to use our own mind to decipher it. So there's like someone who actually helped us through COVID was Luke Radowski at We Are Change on YouTube. And that's like he's pretty hyperbolic and sensational, but at the same time, he's always seemingly on the cusp of a lot of the things that come out to be true later. With the things that are called conspiracy, and then eventually the mainstream narrative has to embrace it, because for most of the time they've been trying to push that narrative out of the spotlight. So, you know, there's like the Luke Radowski's We Are Change. There's like Crystal and Cigar, like at Breaking Point. They used to be on the Rising, and they started their own YouTube channel. They're pretty, like, he's right wing and she's pretty left and libertarian, so that you get kind of a little bit of both sides. Yeah, we'll put some links down below, you guys, because someone just asked, like, can we put a link? We will. Just add some links just to share, you know, you guys. Jimmy Dore, I mean, he's, you know, again, he's very sensational, but at the same time, he's Jimmy Dore is great. Abby Martin is incredible. She's an incredible journalist and documentary maker. So again, Substack is wonderful. I'm on a few Telegram groups as well, and we just try to understand a lot of the holistic perspective, like all sides, because only then can you shape your reality and perspective and understand that all of our realities and perspectives aren't even truths, because they're truly oh my goodness, it fell again. I don't know what's going on. We bought this Osmo device, and every 5 minutes it seems to knock
It
off.
dies.
But let's get off the journalism stuff. It's just, but there you go.
I think it's important conversation because it's to do with how we're all consuming the information about our world and the situations that are happening that affect all of our lives, right? So it's just important to remember to be very mindful of not trusting just one person.
Yeah, and Lindsay Thompson says it's true. I like Russell Brand. He shines light on reality of our mainstream media, amongst other things. In fact, we've been going back to him because after he became almost uber intellectual, like using way too long words and trying really hard to sensationalize a lot of things. But even underneath the layer of that, he's incredibly brilliant, and his deciphering for himself and his team of what's going on is so valuable. Just to consider, you don't have to take it at face value. But Russell Brand's YouTube is so incredible at trying to critically navigate through the noise and the confusion. And I think actually that's a great starting point too. And he has some great guests on his podcast. I think all the people I just named, he's had on as guests, from Crystal and Cigar to Jimmy Dore to Glenn Greenwald. I think they've all been on this thing, which is interesting. It's really interesting.
It's really, it's important.
But
important to open our mind.
Let's move on.
And then I just saw somebody also ask about how they can contact us for anyone that is interested in really considering a very serious decision of helping a child from Ukraine. My family friend is in charge of it right now. I will get more information from her, but I think the best thing would be to just contact us, and then maybe we'll put our email contact.
Well, just through business at Boho Beautiful Life. Jordan will get it and he'll forward it over to us.
Yeah, Jordan will forward it to us, and if anyone out there is serious about this, you can connect with us, and then we'll connect you to her, and then kind of go from there. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to get the focus on this. There we go. I think so. Is that better? It's hard to tell. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about some more questions, guys. What else is going on? Oh my goodness. I just feel like whenever I talk about the state of the world, it just takes a minute to reground. Let's take a second and just reground. Why don't you talk about your book there? I saw someone actually talking about the Purple Flame earlier.
The Violet Flame?
The Violet Flame.
So a really dear friend of ours brought me these incredible
Your friend,
books.
Stacia, she's on here.
Oh, she's on here.
And she's part of the Boho team.
She's part of our team, but also has become a dear friend as well. I've been very much... How do I talk about this without really spending too long to talk about it? I've been really connected and deeply guided towards Saint Germain and the Violet Flame. It's been something that I have been diving deep into every meditation. It's always been coming up. And I started really searching and opening my mind of oh my gosh, it keeps dying. I want to dive deeper into that understanding and education and self-growth, because I'm being guided to it and connected to it. And so Stacia, when she came and visited us here in Costa Rica, brought me these incredible 3 books from Godfre King. It's about Saint Germain. So I'm reading the first one still, and it's called The Unveiled Mysteries. And there's many volumes of these beautiful iron series green books, and it's very powerful. I mean, I don't know how much deeper I want to get into it, but
I read on your birthday. I spent an hour reading it, and within the first hour, it made connections for me in my life and my journey that changed the way I look at the actual fundamental laws and principles of planet Earth and our existence upon it. And any book that in the first 80 pages can do that is worth the exploration. And if and there are books that have been able to do that constantly. That's the beauty of reading, is gaining others' perspectives and applying it to your own. But to have that happen so suddenly and so profoundly in such a short amount of time of exploration of just the first pages of the first book of this series, called Unveiled Mysteries.
And this book takes place on Mount Shasta as well. And that's actually where Vistacia lives, and that's somewhere I would love to visit one day. And I don't know if you guys on here have been to Mount Shasta, but we hear it's got some very powerful energies. And when you read this book, you're like, oh my gosh. Like, it explains why that place holds such powerful frequency. But yeah, it's really, really powerful. And I'm just in the beginning of it, you know. I'm just really diving in firsthand into the knowledge of the I am, and
we'll see where it takes us.
Saint Germain and
It's
the Violet
beautiful.
Flame, and it's been very beautiful and really awakening and connecting for me personally. And yeah, I feel like it's kind of, you know, and you feel that in your heart that it's like the next chapter for you, or you're being pulled by some kind of teaching, and this has been for me. So I'm just very grateful that like all the pieces aligned and the right people have been brought forward to guide me into this direction. So yeah.
It's great. We will put links. Some people are asking for links for the things that we're talking about. I think
just combing through questions.
I'm just combing. A lot of comments. We can post a link. Lindsay Thompson likes the Russell brand. Zilvi G's pressed about your dad. Thanks for sharing more information about the local situation. It's hard to understand the full reality through TV. Couldn't agree with that more. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Somebody suggests the No Agenda podcast, Martin Nichols. So we're going to check that out for sure. Sounds like anything with no agenda. It means seeking truth, which is beautiful. Hella is saving up for her first retreat in Costa Rica. Again, addressing the Boho community spirit and all out of sync with that. Marishka, thank you for talking about this. No, I don't know. It's nice. Martin Nichols, it's Jenny. Hang in there, guys. Yeah, no, I don't know. How are we? I think we're good. I think we can, really say.
Good, yeah.
Stephanie's asking just straight up how we are. Martin Nichols is asking about sustainable clothing, which is interesting because I saw someone earlier actually talking about. I think they were talking about yoga clothing and looking for non-petroleum based sustainable fabric. And again, we've talked about that before, but we actually had a really wonderful meeting with the woman who runs Tiki, which is an all sustainable, very like well-intentioned yoga brand clothing.
And you guys have seen me wear a lot of their clothes. A lot of like the beautiful pastel kind of pants. That's all Tiki, and it comes from recycled water bottle, like plastic water bottles. And it's pretty incredible. What they can do is take garbage like plastic, and there's like these machines that can create fabric out of them, and then they make pants and tops. And so we really connected with that idea, and it's been kind of, again, like this beautiful divine alignment of how it all worked out, because the woman that is running this company, she actually is also part-time living in Costa Rica, so we've been able to connect in person, and it's been wonderful, and we're really entertaining the idea of creating something beautiful in our own energy, but with her fabrics, because so far of what we've seen out there in the industry, she's quite, up there for sustainability and repurposing, garbage for something wonderful to put on your body, which is crazy. So sustainable clothing, it's in the works. Like, we can't really share much more because we don't really have much to share yet. We're working on it. So
and it's exciting.
Tuned. Yeah, it is very exciting to be able to provide you guys something that we believe in and that we wear and we are proud of to give to the world. So.
And Laura Lorente is asking how the schools are in Costa Rica for Xavier.
Well, he's too little to still go to school, but one of the reasons why we wanted to actually settle down here in Nosara is because they have a beautiful Waldorf school on the beach here, and it's called Casa de Estrellas, and it's, from what we hear, a magical place for children, and Waldorf is definitely a type of education that we believe in, and we would hope Xavier can be brought forward in his expansion as a human being through that kind of method, at least at the beginning of the first 15-16 years of his life. So that's kind of what we know here. But we know there's some other schools not too far that are a little bit more like regular, I guess. I don't know. You say
there are quite a few different options for different types
different types of school, depending on
methodologies.
what kind of ways children learn best. So there's a great variety of schools here.
Lindsay Thompson says, I can't wait for your new imagination for the app. I'm thinking it'll be a space where we can interact with our fellow souls here in the Boho Beautiful community. And Lindsay, that's exactly right. That's the whole idea, is like we want to figure out how to make this more than just a two-way street. And Sylvie asks where we're traveling to next, and I don't know if we have any plans right now. I think we're really trying to find
our grounding, which has been really important, as we spoke in the very beginning of this live stream, and it's been really nice. I mean, we travel like through Costa Rica. Like we just went to the mountains last weekend because it was my birthday, and we wanted to do something different and special. So we might travel around the country a little bit here, but as far as somewhere far, not at the moment.
We'd like in the fall, when it gets to rainy season here, to maybe go back to Nepal or to Bali or somewhere just really raw that we've been to already, to just revisit some of those energies that we found so much value from in the past.
And that we miss.
And that we can bring Xavier into. But we're not sure. We're kind of just like playing it all by ear.
Someone asked if we have ebook readers, or do
you prefer real books?
To be honest, real books is the only way, because we spend so much time looking at computer screens with all the work that we do, that the last thing we want to do is look at a screen. So yes, physical books is definitely the way to go for us.
And sometimes audiobooks. When we're driving, we usually we'll put on an audiobook. But that's a good question, because I have some friends that have like 1,000 books on an e-reader, and then like kind of envy it, but at the same time, I don't know, I don't think anything could ever replace the feeling of a page and like the opening of a chapter and the physical closing of the book when it's done.
And the smell
like
of a book too.
It's such a, I don't know, digital, like it's always just, it's like seeing a video of a beautiful place is never the same as being there. I think in a weird sort of way, there's a lot of like, a lot gets lost through the digital existence. That's why I'm so scared of the metaverse. You know,
I will not touch it.
I'm so scared of like what that's going to do to the realities.
Heard of that?
Of course, I think everyone has. But like the metaverse,
I only heard it from you. I would have never heard about it if you didn't tell me.
Yeah, no, it's just so weird to think that we're going to slowly it's like playing street hockey. Say car, and then everyone has the cars and say it's like we're going to slowly replace reality with a digital version of it, and nothing can replace like the beauty of existence.
I prefer to take this universe. They can have their metaverse. I'll exist on this universal plane, and I'm happy with that.
That's so true. Oh, that's so true. So what else? Here we go. Yes, please, behind the scenes video, says Helly, with your comments on how you build specific class and shoot it. Would love to find that. It would be so informative. Well, you're always here with us. I just want to take a moment and say thank you, because I feel like
we know you.
You're the familiar face that is always here with us and has been for so long, and it's so beautiful. So like that's incredible. And behind the scenes videos. Yeah, I think one day we get to it. We're trying to like expand our production team a little bit so we can do more and get back to like making a lot more of the personal content that we used to, because we miss it. I think like our personal channel, after we had Xavier, we just ghosted on it, and we have to get back to that.
Just not enough hours in the day, unfortunately, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah. But with good people coming into our life, you know, maybe that'll open up that space that we need. So that's what we're hoping, right? There's a little more space and time so we can focus our energy on that kind of content. So many mosquitoes.
So many mosquitoes.
Gosh.
Oh my goodness. Marishka. My cat is obsessed with Juliana. Every time he hears me start a video, he comes and lays by the phone on top of the mat. That's so sweet.
I'm glad. I'm glad I can bring some peace to your cat's life. That's so cute.
and Erin Elizabeth understands car and game on. It's like we're playing street hockey. Game on.
Speaking of animals, our neighbor here, who actually owns this home that we're renting, her dog just had 5 puppies yesterday. And we came home from our workspace, and Mark ran over there. And
Well, I went over because I was getting they're helping me with my table I'm making for the desk, because I finally picked up my piece of Guanacosta wood that I just got cut, and then we whitewashed it, and then I went over there, and then within like 5 minutes, all of a sudden,
he was pulling puppies out.
I was delivering puppies with Mei Lan. And it was,
So Mark delivered some puppies last
well,
night.
I wasn't
Maybe
the deliverer. I was like the assistant.
The
I was the
assistant.
assistant to the deliverer. And there's a whole team of us, and then there was one that was, it was
Speaking
amazing.
of cats and dogs, we got some new puppies.
It was so beautiful. And it was really needed, because like an hour before that,
we had a really tough day yesterday, actually, in regards to these kinds of lessons of life and death, because literally an hour before that, there's a really big issue here in Costa Rica with a lot of construction and people building things, is that they don't cover the wires and the transformers with special protectors, and so a lot of monkeys here are getting electrocuted and dying, and it's been a huge issue. And unfortunately we saw it happen yesterday, and no one else was there, so like Mark ran down like faster than me, and like this poor monkey, he died instantly from this. And so we were dealing with like the animal rescue here and trying it was a really heavy moment for us.
Not just dealing with the passing of this poor creature, who it's our fault for being here in his jungle, and it's really like it's been on our hearts really heavily, because we're close with the people who run Cebu here, and they deal with a lot of this, and they brought this up, and we put it in a video earlier, and we'll put the video in the link as well in the description, because she talks so well about it. But the thing is, like, the main power company here is called ISE, and ISE feels no moral responsibility while plowing over jungle so people like us can build homes and live here in paradise, to ground the wires. And the government does nothing. The government does nothing to help ISE and motivate them to ground the wires, and then the community does nothing to put pressure on ISE, except not the whole community. The majority of the community does nothing for ISE, and the tourists do nothing to put, and because the tourists don't know, to put pressure on ISE. And so you have this like paradigm of people passing the buck, and it's terrible. Like, it's like, and then we see it happen, and you're just like, and then we're dealing with it, and we're trying to save it, and it dies in our, like literally in our arms.
And Martin says, write to the Costa Rican Tourist Bureau. We're actually going to try and write to the ISE company, and that's what the animal rescue told us yesterday. We just have to keep putting pressure on them and the government. They're a billion-dollar company. They provide like wires and internet services for all of Costa Rica, and it's like they have the possibility to do it, and it shouldn't take them even that much time or effort. You just cover the freaking transformer with some like coverings, and that's all it takes. But they don't do it, and so there's all these poor monkeys that are
the howler monkeys, their population is being decimated because of this development that is done irresponsibly. And I don't understand like how in 2022, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, we're literally still developing things in an irresponsible way as a human species, when we're supposed to be the stewards of this planet. And I'm getting upset when I think about it, so I'm gonna bring it down a notch and just say, there's an organization, Cebu, and I know we're asking, like, there's always something. There's always something that that you can give to, or give karma to, or put your energy towards. But, check out Cebu. We'll put a link in the bottom. They deal with cleaning this up. They're dealing with the garbage that everyone else is leaving behind. The problems, not the garbage, because these lives are more valuable than anything, and we seem to just treat them so poorly. And so, anyways, it was another thing. And so we went from this like whole terrible thing, and then we drive here, and the minute I get home, I'm giving birth to puppies, and I'm just like,
and it was like a true like lesson of in the universe. Like, we literally went from death, like of this passing of this beautiful creature, coming home all devastated in tears, into like running and bringing life like through puppies. It's just like, it was really crazy, like the duality of that happened so quickly within the hour of each, you know what I mean? It was quite crazy, and I mean maybe needed as well, because we were grieving to have to witness something like that, and the universe was like, here, but there's life coming in. But this whole issue with the monkeys, like, we need to all start speaking up more about it, and writing to these organizations.
Martin, you have a great idea.
Yeah, to put a link to the Tourist Bureau, maybe that will help, and say, like, we hear about this terrible situation in Nosara. Like,
it's not just Nassau though.
but it's
all
everywhere,
over Costa
all
Rica.
the, like, the tour.
Because it's not profitable to ground these wires. But it's like they even said, it doesn't cost a lot. Like it's not going to like sink the company. It's just going to affect their bottom line ledger at the end of the month. And so maybe we'll put a link to the tourist board with an email at the bottom of this. And anyone who's watched this far through the live stream, maybe if there's one thing you can do after this, is just write a quick email to the tourist board to say, could you please put pressure on ICE, which is spelled ICE, like ice.
Like ice, yeah.
And to consider to make that an obligatory thing that they do, so that tourists can feel like they're supporting the place rather than contributing to the decimation. I don't know.
I think that's a good idea, and I think we need to just provide the outlet, and we all have to contribute in some way. And that's the thing. It's like, it's not just like, well, let's give them some, more donations to do it. It's like, no, like, you need to pressure the government.
It should be obligatory. They shouldn't be allowed to put a power line up.
Yeah,
like,
if it's not going to be covered, and protect the animals. That literally, they use, like, these monkey families, they use the power lines as means of transportation, right? And so it's just, anyways. That's the whole thing of you trying to bring human beings and like civilization into a jungle, where it's, I don't know, you have to find a balance, and we have to live by the jungle's rules and respect it, because we are coming into their home. They are not part of our lives, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how we see nature here. It's like we're imposing on them, so if we're going to enter their ecosystem and their home, we have to be respectful and do all we can to make sure we're not taking away from them, you know what I mean? And so covering power lines is one thing, of course, cleaning up after ourselves and all of those other things, like, all contributes to it.
Well, guys, the Summer Warrior series, I saw someone comment about that earlier. Thank you guys for embracing it. It's a beautiful series. We're actually, not as jokes, but it's kind of as a joke, but it's not, because the people from Australia are like, it's not summer for us. We're going to do a winter series this month coming up.
And by winter series, we're meaning it'll just be, instead of very fiery practices as the summer series is, it'll be more grounded and like just relaxing, peaceful, restorative type of practices. So then you have the yin and the yang.
And that's for everyone who's living in winter right now.
But even if you live in the summer, you can also do it and enjoy it. It's just that we're going to call it winter series just for fun.
Well, because they're like, it's winter for us, but it's so funny.
So that's coming out for sure, and that's
and they'll be very complimentary to each other, I think. Eh?
Oh, totally.
Oh my goodness, this whole stabilizing issue constantly collapsing for you guys.
I'm glad it kicks your butt for you guys. I'm seeing some comments that people are enjoying it.
From Jenny, who's writing under the pseudonym of Martin Nichols. So good. So yeah, I think life's good though, guys. As we round the bases, I think, on this beautiful little shared experience of co-creating a little bit of space in our lives to just connect and communicate. I think we take a breath and we realize that with all of this going on in the world, and I saw some people asking some questions earlier about how do you find the goodness when so much craziness is going on. I think, like, we cultivate it inside, and it's good to take a minute and ground and to always find the things that we're grateful for, which is life and breath and our bodies and our consciousness and our relatives and our families and our loved ones and the places we live and the things that we have. And we cultivate the goodness and the light from that so that we can go out and be strong enough to share our light against all of the dark things going on out there. And I think that's like, let's take a second and just take a breath together, and
let that be our focus and intention as we continue to move forward and in our everyday lives, right? As Gandhi says, we must be the light we wish to see in the world, so we have to embody that, and we have to do everything we can in our everyday interactions and experiences, do what we can to just be as bright as possible, and to share that light, because the more brighter we can all shine, the greater we can lift the energy, the faster we can lift it, because there's so much trying to weigh us down. So that's the only way we can fight that, is through the light. And so we must remember to be it, and to connect to it every day.
Every day. Find the ritual. Find the ritual in it to find the strength and cultivate all the light you can so that we can be stronger as we walk forward and down our paths together and individually.
Exactly. So thank you guys for being here and for this beautiful hour that we get to spend with you on a Saturday. It's been wonderful. It's always a pleasure to connect. So thank you.
From our hearts to all yours, friends. Even my namaste.
Namaste. Have a beautiful weekend. And see you soon.
Beep. I don't know how to do anything. Let's see. Oh, we could have done this. Look. There's all these different buttons here.
Black and white. I think you do this.
8mm. This is cool. We'll do our next one in this.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Bye, guys.